Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
So I see your beautiful dog there. So maybe what is it, a girl or a boy?
That she is a girl. She's about 11 years old, a pug and beagle mix, and her name is Rosa.
Wow. It's shocking for me that I spent my childhood in Yemen until I was like 16, and by that time I didn't know anything about dogs. Like in Yemen, we think that dogs like are objects. Like I say that it's like people don't have doorbell, they have dogs. Like someone is coming if the dog is barking, and
Right.
we really don't even allow them inside the house.
Right. They're more functional
Yeah.
than they are relational. Yeah. She is a handful though. I mean, I wish that she served I guess she can sort of, no, she doesn't even bark when there's someone at the door. So she's not even a good doorbell.
So she's not aggressive at all.
I mean, she gets excited when she sees another dog and she wants to meet people, like she's friendly, but no, she's not aggressive. She's very timid, actually.
Mm.
Yeah.
You say she's 12 years old. I think dogs live until the age of like 15 or.
Yeah, smaller dogs apparently tend to live longer. I guess the really big ones have like heart problems and things. So they sometimes will die even earlier than the age of 10. But I'm actually bringing her in to get a checkup at her little veterinarian doctor.
Yeah.
Only because I have to. I have to get her caught up on her shots because I'm moving. So the new landlord needs to know that she's like, in good shape.
What? So the landlord that will rent you the house want to make sure that your dog in good shape?
Well, I mean, usually the landlord does want to at least know what your like pet situation is. Like my landlord here just wanted to know if I had pets. But this is more of a single family home, so I don't have like neighbors everywhere. I'm going to be moving into a community complex that has like a dog park and neighbors much closer. So I think they just want to be sure that like she's clear of any diseases that could affect dogs in the neighborhood. I guess it's just a community standards thing, but it means that I have to spend like $400 to get her up to date on all her shit. So it's great.
Wow.
Moving
But
is expensive.
yeah, I don't know. I think that you shouldn't live in one place for more than 2 to 3 years because it becomes depression.
It does. It gets so stagnant. I've moved, at least in my adult life, the longest time I've been in one place was 5 years. And in that time, my marriage dissolved. So it wasn't a good thing. We'd have just moved sooner. No, but yeah, I agree. You need it to kind of freshen your perspective on life. So
Yeah, I think also that's part of knowing who you are and how to reset your mind when it's time of like, okay, now it's time I have to move and change this house. Are you to that level where you talk with yourself and you are like, okay, I feel like I have to move?
yeah, I definitely have this whole internal dialogue. Really, it's like I'm talking, like you said, to myself about like when you start feeling like that, like what I feel unsettled and why. And especially with the pandemic, it was harder to identify if I was feeling that because everything was shut down and like my lifestyle went from like going into the office and then going out to happy hour with my friends and like, reset that whole cycle over and over and over again. You party hard on the weekend and you nurse yourself back to health on Sunday so you're ready
Yes,
for work on Monday.
yes.
And and then everything just stopped. So when I finally realized, well, I need to move, it was kind of just when I realized it's 2 years went by in the pandemic, and I literally moved into this apartment the Sunday before they shut things down in my area, which was that Wednesday. So this is my pandemic apartment, and it became stale so much faster than usual because I didn't get to go out. So I just found myself rearranging my furniture all the time because that was close enough.
Yeah, you create your own struggle, or maybe sometimes. Maybe you wouldn't do it that much if there is no lockdown.
Right, exactly. So I think though, either way, I would have wanted to move at some point because um, it's too cold where I live now in like Connecticut, and I'm moving down to Myrtle Beach, so it's warm there most of the year. Very excited.
What? Because you have to tell me the name of the state. I'm not that good with the name of the
Oh,
city.
that's fine. So Myrtle Beach is in South Carolina. So Connecticut is like on the East Coast, and then it's like, oh gosh, let me see if I remember my geography. It's like New York, New Jersey, Delaware, Maryland, DC is right there, which is not even a state, but it's its own thing. And then Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina. So it's like a half a dozen state, like 6 to 8 states down the coast. Um, so like about a 2.5 hour plane ride, give or take.
I want to ask you about Texas. So
Sorry, my dog decided to get up and go and eat
it's
right in the middle of this. I
it's fine.
apologize if you
No,
can
I
hear
just want to tell you, like, at any moment, if you want, we can buzz and you can
her.
do
Okay,
it.
one
So,
sec.
yeah, do your thing.
She's Rosa. Rosa. I knew that this would happen. I knew you would wake up from your nap right in during this. Get up on your bed. All right.
So, what,
Anyway,
you don't want her to eat?
it's not that she can eat. I just don't want it to be distracting. I get it.
Ah, no, that's good. I don't think there is any distraction.
Cool. Her bowl is all the way in the kitchen, and she decided to bring it here and just crunch, just so I would know she was there eating. Like
Oh,
she's she's goofy, and there she goes back to her chair.
it's just crazy how also I feel like dogs or even human, like in Yemen, all dogs are homeless.
Mm,
There is no dog that lives in a house,
right.
and they are so, I don't know, I don't want to say the word stupid. I think that's disrespectful.
They- They're not. They're not the most intelligent creatures I think that exist. Like, so I understand your urge
No,
to
no, no.
use that.
What I mean is, dogs in the US are smarter than dogs in Yemen.
I think they're just more trained. Like, I feel like maybe it's more just being feral versus being housed and trained. Like, they're creatures of habit. So, like, if they live in a house and you spend time, like, she's old, so I'm not going to make her do anything. But, like, I was able to teach her tricks because I had a lot of time on my hands. So I was just, doing commands over and over. And if she figured it out, you know, that reward thing, it's like dog psychology is like very baseline, even with human psychology. I feel like you can train humans very similarly to dogs if you repeat things enough. But yeah, it's just, I think, a matter of what, you know, and the interaction with humans is like for dogs, depending on how they respond to like a human being.
Yeah, but let's say also, for example, the parents of the dog are trained and they live with human. Their kids will be even easier to train them than if you train kids of dogs in Yemen, because it's like there is something that goes to the kids.
It's an interesting study on like generational, like, um, yeah, because I mean, man, that's getting deep.
I,
Well, no, I think that there's something to that of like I rescued her from a shelter, but I'm sure that like that's how most dogs are sold, so to speak, in like America is it's like, oh, it's a shelter, but really it's just a dog that's ready to go to a home. So it's already tame. Like we wouldn't get dogs that were like literally taken off the streets and aren't tame. So yeah.
Yeah, I got you. And also, like they say, the best way to get a dog is like there is people who make good dogs breed, and crazy dogs they don't let them breed. I don't know if that would be a good idea to do with humans. Make, but we are all
I
crazy.
mean, it's been attempted. I'm pretty sure history, if you look at that's the history of eugenics right there, right? Is breeding out the bad behavior. It doesn't always work because we don't really understand exactly how it works yet, but scientists have done it.
But what do you mean that you mean like if they make good dogs breed, it doesn't work that their kids will be good? Is that what you mean?
No, I mean in humans, it doesn't. Scientists have done
Mhm.
experiments like that. At least I've heard of it. But I wasn't there. I didn't see it with my own eyes. So you got to take everything you hear with a grain of salt. But yeah, apparently like if you research you I think it's called eugenics. It's just like the scientific practice of trying to like breed out certain traits in humans.
But what did they want? Like, what was, for example, if we breed two nice dogs, because we want the new dog to be cute and to be nice. So what did they try to breed in humans? Like, what was the mix, and what did they want the result to be?
I mean, the main stories I heard were from like Nazi Germany and like um trying to breed more like, the master race stuff. So some of that stuff that gets really icky. I think they would like experiment with people that had like eyes of two different colors. They experimented trying to breed that. Twins and stuff, they did lots of experiments on of like what the genetics of that are. But I don't know. I'm not an expert in this at all. So
Yeah,
um, but usually it's sort of like that. It's portrayed as that mad scientist like trying to like control an entire population and doing cruel experiments on people, but like the concept of the way breeders what they do with dogs is accepted because the outcome is positive, right? So I don't think that there's, at least from what I know, there's not been much of a positive like outcome of trying only to get certain humans to breed. But
mm.
like there is I know I'm talking so I don't I'm talking so much about stuff I'm totally not qualified to talk about. But it is interesting. It's stuff that I've heard about. So it makes you wonder like is aggression something that's in our DNA, or is it just a result of a certain influx of a chemical in our brain, you know, um, at a certain moment? Like people who go on steroids tend to get more aggressive, but then apparently like there's been studies about whether or not like violent people can be like that can be traced genetically. So that's interesting. I mean, that relates to the dog thing.
Yeah, as you said, like let's not talk about like stuff we don't know. But I wanna tell you something that I experienced. I felt
Okay.
it. It's not even so. I even see like Arabic people, or like so. I most like especially now I would say like 100% of my friends, or maybe 95% are from Germany, because it's the easiest people. I live in Europe, and where I am, there are too many Germans, and I feel that they are smarter. Even the connection better. They are more normal, And I start to think that one of the reasons why, for example, Arabic people, or especially the one I meet in Yemen, are a little bit slow, a little bit weird, is also because one part is like the mom. Like imagine most of my Arabic friends' moms, their husband has two wives or three. So it's even their life, the mom life, she's not happy. It's some system that doesn't make sense for the way humans operate and everything. Or maybe I think like in Germany, it's not, there is nowhere it's perfect, but at least their moms work out, did yoga, had even some a little bit better quality of life.
Mm.
So that's something I experienced, and I think it's true.
Right. You can actually see the evidence of it with in your life.
Yeah.
Uh, I mean, I think that that's why there is a focus on like maternal health and especially if you plan to be a mom, like at least around here, like people that I know, like family members and friends who know that they want to be mothers someday will try to be healthy at least 2 years before even trying to get pregnant. So their body's like in a better state. But that's like, that's all, that is a privilege in a lot of ways to even have the time to focus on that. Or even the information to like know to do that. So
Yeah, it's great. So how do you like get through the day? Like, do you like have routine that you have to follow, or
I'm starting to get more of a routine, which is of course about to be interrupted because I'm going to move, but hopefully I'll be able to pick up a similar routine. The only thing that I think will be different is I'll be able to go outside much more frequently. I mean, here even around this time of year it's starting to get warmer. Um, but in my, my day to day, I don't really leave the house because I work from home. Um, so having a nicer environment to like step out into will be beneficial. So most of the time I wake up right before I have to log into work because I don't have to get dressed or anything for it. I get my coffee, I log in, check my emails. Usually I don't have meetings in the morning, which is great because I'm not really great at communicating verbally in the morning. I'm not a morning person. Um, and then most of my afternoon meetings, I just get through those and I log off and I'll make dinner. And usually I'll just play video games with some friends online in the evening or watch like a TV show. So it's nothing really exciting, but that's pretty much like the steady routine. And then on weekends, I usually sleep in and do as much like housework as I can before the week catches up to me. So it's quite the opposite of my previous routine of go to work, go to happy hour, go home, go to work, go to happy hour, go home, party on the weekends. Like it's much more chill and relaxed and probably healthier.
Well, they say that everyone is different, and what you should do is try to find what routines work for you the best, and what makes you happy. It's not the same, and also it could always be uh, like you can increase how good is your routine and how it
Right.
works for. So you always try to find what works for you, what makes your mood good. And I feel that's the problem, that many people, they don't know like who they are or what works for them.
That's true. Um, yeah, I'm curious like what your routine is and why it works for you because it seems like you've put thought into this. So I imagine you kind of have some reflection to share.
Yeah, so I love how I do it now. So I would wake up like at 8 p.m. So like when people are going to bed, I wake up.
Yeah. You got the night shift.
Yes. So I would, so when I wake up, I have to work out. I have to do difficult tasks. Like I have
Okay.
to go, even if the gym is closed, I will go to play volleyball or I will go to do some running. So when I wake up, it's not even optional. Like if I don't do difficult tasks, I cannot deal with anything. So I
Mm-hmm.
would do that, and I even feel for the rest of the day that what I did at the beginning impacted, and how hard it is what I did in when I wake up makes the rest of the day easy. If I do so hard workout, work will be so easy. If I don't do difficult task, the work will be the hardest task and it will kill me. So also I enjoy workout. So that's why I do it. And I then do open mic. There is open mic that happen like at 2 o'clock every day in New York on the Zoom. And I work, I cook, and then that's my writing. I live by the beach,
Oh, awesome.
so I do my comedy sets on Zoom. The only open mics in the country where I am is my flat, by the way. It's the
Is
only
where?
is
You
my
live down?
flat,
Oh, nice.
the only open mic in the whole country. They don't know about comedy
The
here yet.
only they don't have comedy open mics.
No,
Well,
yeah,
they got to start somewhere. You're bringing it to.
yeah. So so then my comedy writing is at night when there is nobody, when people are sleeping, because I feel people are always distraction. Even if I'm like, okay, I'm gonna focus on my set, I feel it's better at night. I walk by the sea like for 2 3 hours and I keep listening to my sets and try to find more punchlines, more. So I do feel fortunate that I am finding it's not, and that's why I feel like you cannot teach someone how to be great comedian, because
Mhm.
I like to walk and I like to live at night, but other people there are different things that works for them. And also I'm trying also to make it more even efficient, because I feel like the let's for example, do you watch MMA fights? Are you into UFC fights? And
Not particularly, but I do play the MMA video game.
oh, because I want to tell you that usually the fighters that always win are the fighters who figure out things before others do. Like they figure out smart workouts for their body. They figure the fighters. So I feel it's the same with comedy, but with the mind and your body. So
Hmm.
the faster you will figure out how to work, how to bring the funny out of yourself, how to, like fighters, they figure out what's the best workout that will make them in that 25 minutes do their best to make their gas tank full. Other fighters, they didn't figure it out and their gas tank finish and they get smashed. So I feel that's with comedy, and you have to feel it before even science find it, and before, and that's why you can lead.
That's very wise and also pretty validating because I've realized I haven't been following like I can see a lot of comedians and like the circles that we are in who definitely are going by the book on a lot of things and they're doing it well, they're executing it very well and they're honing their skills, but the ones that I feel like make the biggest impression on me tend to just kind of do their own thing and in any way, shape, or form. So I agree. Like that maybe is the mark of the winner is just kind of figuring it out for yourself rather than following somebody else's rules.
Yeah, and also like um, now people know more about comedy, like punchline, twist, how to make people laugh. But like let's say like 30 years ago or 40 years ago, maybe people didn't even know what we know now. And I
Mm-hmm.
feel like if someone knows everything what we know now at that time, he will be or she will be the best. So sorry, I feel like you freeze. or is this okay? You actually look so cool with the smoke.
Right, it's like wafting into the whole ambiance.
Yeah. Before the electricity goes, we were talking about writing. So I want to ask you this. When you are writing, do you feel like you are a different person than when you are like with your friends or when you are driving? What's the difference?
That's a good question. I don't I don't know if I say I feel like a different person, but I feel like I'm accessing a different part of my personality and mind, right? So, um uh anything that I feel is off is completely me judging myself, right? So there's no external. But then I also think maybe sometimes that if you're by yourself and you're writing and you're trying to come up with something good, that's I think maybe what writer's block is you telling yourself that it's not good. Because how are you supposed to know? Like just write it, get it down. That's why I think like at least as far as jokes go, I've been relying very heavily on riffing because I tried to write things and I got the structure right and everything, but I feel like that sometimes it's a little confining. And I don't know. I used to write a lot of poetry like in the early days of the pandemic. I was writing a lot of poetry. And that was like a whole different experience.
That's cool. I
Very
stopped writing.
You like writing just in general?
I mean, like this, like traditional way where you have to sit down and write. That's why I ran away from university and school to come here. And so for me, I would record myself in open mics and I would try new ideas. It's like, how about this seems funny. And I also know what I'm trying to do. So for me, I try to bring fascinating things about Yemen where nobody knows. So it's already fascinating, take the attention, and I just try to make it punchy. Or, I mean, like, there are also other things about myself. And yeah, but I would try it and I would listen to my record. I don't care if I bomb or no. I go for a walk at night and I listen to my record. And that's like, I feel like when I'm walking, my blood is moving in a different way than when I'm sitting, when I'm watching the waves, the sky. That's where I come out with some punchlines and find the funny. But if I'm sitting and writing, it's like I'm at university. I can't.
Yeah, and then you're just reading like it's recited. That was like the first couple sets I tried in open mics. I had written it out and I had memorized it almost exactly. And it was like it was really nice and tight and it fit the 5 minutes perfect. But like the first couple times I did it, I guess I got some laughs. And then I don't know if I just got sick of the material myself or I felt like I just wasn't delivering it just wasn't being delivered the same way. But I in the moment, it's so much easier to come up with something. And then if you can remember how you delivered it and just kind of replicate that, it's almost like muscle memory for telling jokes.
Yeah, but also, um, why do you think comedians talks the most? I still don't know why. Because when I'm with my friends, I have also friends that they develop websites and do these things. And when we are out, I would talk the most. I'm like, this is my field. I talk. You are good at with your computer. I don't come there and try to bother you. So now, so when comedians met, it's so why do you think?
That's a good, oh man, that is a good question. the gift of gab is as it's called, I guess. I don't know. I mean, I haven't put that much thought. So my cat just jumped into my lap. So little. All right, I'll let him settle in. We. I mean, I personally know that I process my information in my brain sometimes better if I'm verbalizing, because I can get in my own head and just repeat the same thought over and over and not actually make any progress on it. So I think maybe comedians are just people that kind of do things that way. And then when you find a punchline, that's almost like you're trying to solve a problem, and that's your solution is the punchline.
So when you talk to like new people or even your friends, do you sometimes try your punchlines? I mean, you will not go there and say the exact joke, but then you drop it when you talk about the subject, and they usually laugh.
That's one of my favorite things about actually the fact that my friends now know that I'm doing like stand-up comedy and trying to get into it, is if I say something that like in their mind they've deemed as a punchline, they'll be like, Chelsea, that's funny, write that down. So I feel like I do it more not intentionally. Like I'm just talking and being myself, and then I'll come up with a joke and they'll tell me. But in the inverse, kind of, I guess what you're asking, there have been times where I know that I have like a joke that worked on like an open mic, and I'll try to use it in conversation, like it's if it fits just barely, and see if I can get a laugh in that setting, with mixed results. I've got to say, mixed results. Not always as good of a response as in the open mics, because everybody's there to laugh, and especially if you're with fellow comedians, they kind of understand the rhythm of a joke and like when and a laugh is expected and stuff. So when when you deliver a punchline and then you fall silent waiting for the laugh and it doesn't come and you're with your friends, you're like, all right, you got cool. I just look like a dumbass, but I'll take it. I mean, I don't know. Comedians are modern day like jesters or jokers, like in like the old like king and queen court, right? Like they even call them the fools. We're fine with making a fool out of ourselves if everybody else is having a good time. So
Yeah. What I wanted to tell you is when I try my punchlines on conversation, as you said, it's so safe. You just say it, and the other person is not expecting joke or punchline. So if they laugh, good. It gives me more confidence. If they don't laugh,
yeah, that's a good, exactly right. You know that it won't be a sympathy laugh. It'll be a real laugh, and then you got something. So
yeah.
that's always good. And then the trick is, how do you take those and fit them into like a set without writing, without actually sitting down and writing and preparing? Like I haven't done actual written preparation for any open mics since I first started, because I realized I didn't like that technique early on. So I just started, like I said, like riffing. And you have, I think, even more strategy than I have, because you're explaining some of the things you want to keep consistent in your set, like talking about Yemen and then making like, punchlines out of that, because then you're pulling your audience in. You have a strategy. I don't even have a strategy. I show up and I'm like, this might suck tonight because I don't know what I'm going to do.
Yeah, like I would give you an example. Like I would look so for example, in Yemen we don't have banks or ATM. It's true. So like if you are with credit card, it's fucked up there. It's like useless. There is no ATM. And the joke is, I say that, but there is Apple Pay. You have Apple phone. And then I'd be like,
Yeah.
it's real apples. So
Right. Okay.
I mean, like this kind of misdirect. You see, like it's like there is no banks. So this works for me. And what other thing works for me is when I talk. Okay, I feel that everyone, uh, like most humans, like being, for example, insecure about, or I don't know, maybe it's me. I'm not gonna say Muslim, so it's just me. Being insecure at the beginning of doing start dating,
Mm,
unless they have good parents, and that's why I think like when there is good parents, they teach their kids how to be confident, how to value themselves. Like for me, when I start dating, I felt like I'm the worst guy a girl can ever date. Like because so I have joke about this. Maybe I can tell you if we meet in the Tom or is it Tom against the
yeah, Tom Meyer. Yeah,
yeah.
the Tom Meyer.
I don't know
Are
if
you
I
doing it this week? Are
yeah
you gonna do it this? Me too.
good.
Then well,
So
yeah, I will. I will. I will be listening for that joke then.
yeah, so so my okay, let's so my mom she would complain about my dad when she's angry. She would be like, "Your dad is hung like a bee." I don't know. That's when she's like angry, and she would always complain about my dad and do all these things. Not because my dad is not good. It's just I feel because it's arranged marriage and they
Mm,
didn't fall in love and all these things. And when she get angry at me, she would tell me the same. She's like, "You are like your dad." You. So I grew up thinking that it's true that my dad is fucked up and I am fucked up too. And it
okay.
when I started dating, I was surprised. Like when someone tell you like you look good,
Right.
and
Like
that's
you're a catch, man. Like,
yeah, the power of the word, especially the first person that when
mm,
you feel that you are weird, but someone like gives you hope. Oh, they see something on you that you didn't see, or your mind being abused.
right.
So I would
Yeah.
work so hard to make this funny, and I won't leave it because I feel more people relate, people see it funny, and
I think it's relatable. I mean, I don't my dating life sucks. So I don't know what the fuck. I mean, I was married though. I got married super young, right? So I got married because my parents raised me to believe that that was the right thing for a young woman to do is just get married as soon as possible. So I was married when I was
wow.
20 years old. So I guess it's relatable in the sense that when I started dating, I didn't know what to expect in terms of how I was going to be treated. Because I was more or less just like claimed from church. It's weird. I was like claimed as a bride by one of the young men in church that was looking for one. And I was there. So it happened. Not like literally, that's a very makes it sound like it's like
Wow.
literally was
That's
like, I want that one. And like that happened. But no.
that.
It's more or less my experience was like in the end I realized this wasn't actually about me or somebody valuing me as a person. It was just that I fit into somebody's prescription for their life and what they thought they needed to get, was get a wife, get a job and all that. And then so it wasn't really about me. So yeah, it sucks, but I don't know how to make that funny. I don't know if everything could be funny, man. Some stuff is just tragic.
I don't know. Maybe if you do you go to workshop with comedians?
I haven't not gotten into that yet. I've really only been able to do open mics so far, but I'm really new. I'm really new. Like just right before Thanksgiving last year, like so October, November was when I started doing comedy. So,
I
but I would love
there
to.
there are workshops, and it's nicer when you go to workshop. You tell them you are not like trying to make joke or make them laugh. You just say to other comedians who are like you feel insecure about their jokes, so they really feel
Yeah.
you. And I can send you links for this. It's good, and I
Awesome.
think that if you were able to make that funny, that what will really make you unique, and more people will relate to you. That they've been through your situation or they've been through
Yeah.
something similar. But I don't know how do you feel about it. I mean, you don't have to, but
I like
or
that advice though about finding what make like making your truest experience funny brings out the uniqueness of you as a comedian. Because I do think people want to feel like they know you when they're watching you on stage, and so that's part of why they're laughing, as if you're like friends or family, and they get it. Yeah, that relating part
Yeah.
is very important. And but it is more just like it's hard to laugh at some of the things that still you're not quite like healed from, you know?
Wow, I got it. To be honest, for me, I heal from the things by making them jokes and see people laughing.
Ooh, that's a good point. That is the catalyst sometimes for the healing.
Yes, and I think the best way how to heal is also like you've been through this and now you have realized. But there are too many people who still didn't realize what you realized. Maybe they've been not treated right from man, or like me, my mom put this idea that I'm the worst guy you could have sex with or you could date, or and I see that there are two people who relate to the exact situation, and some people who relate with other stories, but they feel you because. So I feel that comedy is the best way to make people laugh and educate them, because when someone come to you, they laugh, and you, maybe the girl after listening to your set will feel that she should love herself more or this, and she laugh. And so I feel that's the struggle, but when you find the tools at the beginning it's hard, but then you will know yourself more, you will know how to work with your stuff more.
That's that's my goal, is just to get more comfortable in my own skin and in my own story. Um, and yeah, I definitely would love to do something like workshops and even lessons, or I mean, I think there's some people that actually do like teach, but I haven't reached out. Like I just haven't like asked yet, you know? It's one of those things where sometimes I don't know what to ask or who to
Yeah.
look to for the, right advice. So I'd really appreciate whatever you know of that's out there as like a starting point. Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, go. I really also, I mean, like, I respect everyone, but I also see so much potential in you. Even like when we met at that home, like I was like, she looked really cute and nice, your comedy, everything. So that's why I even wanted to talk with you. You are
Thanks.
unique, so go for it. I will send you some of these links. And so what's like, what's your philosophy on who you are? It's so cute, you and the cat. It's like black, and you have dog as well.
I do. You can see her back there.
Uh, Wow. So
She's
it's
big.
like family, you and the
Yeah.
dog and the cat.
Yeah. We were, and I have two cats, him and a brother that looks exactly like him. So you wouldn't even know if like they swapped places right now. They look exactly the same. I don't know where the other one
Is
is
his
right now.
eyes green?
Yep. He matches my outfit. He's like, what's going on?
Wow. And it's like sweet that like you have three species. Does it call three species in your house? Like
Yep.
human,
Human.
dogs, and the cat.
think- Yeah.
It
And
should,
and and
yeah.
and I love the different like qualities of each. The more I've had my cats for over 10 years now, and I've had my dog for almost 10 years. So I've learned quite a bit about the different quirks of those creatures and how they behave. They're cool.
Do you make jokes about them?
Um,
Because that's what I
I
really want to
should.
hear
I
from.
should though. No, I should, because especially with cat, like, yeah, I should. I did send my friend like a video the other day and he didn't react, which I was like, man, I thought it was funny. And I know he's like a cat person. So my cat has recently I've gotten him addicted to fast food French fries. I don't know how. One time he was sniffing, like I was eating them and he was sniffing at it. So I was like, you want to try it? And he tried it and he like went berserk. He was like, this is the greatest thing I've ever tried. And now whenever I come home from grabbing some food and that's what I have, I'll just see him like pop up and he'll like reach for the bag, like with his, he'll just be like, can I have what's in there? And he was doing that and I got it on camera and stuff and sent it to a buddy. So like, I mean, I definitely should figure out how to tell that story.
Is it McDonald's?
And he just grabbed, so I would like put the French fry on the little arm of the chair and then he just kind of knocks it on the floor and eats it. I'll send you the video actually. Wow. Now that I think of it, I'll send, so you know what I'm talking about. But it's funny because it's recent. It's like a new thing, but he's obsessed with French fries.
Does your cat work out? Is he like moving all the time? Otherwise, we'll get fat.
My cats like to chase each other around the house, so they get plenty of exercise from that. My dog is the fat, lazy one, and that's my fault because I should be the one taking her out for walks and exercise, but I don't exercise. I sit on my ass and play video games. So
but you are actually so lucky. I mean, like all women in the gym wish to maybe be like you, and you are like, I don't even work out.
Hey, it's a lifestyle that I've never quite understood. There was maybe like twice in my life where I feel like I had a regular exercise routine. And once was in high school when I was doing track and field. And then once was a little more recently, like right before the pandemic, I was doing martial arts.
Wow. What did you do?
Yeah, nothing, not a big deal. It's not like I can actually fight somebody. I learned you have to actually have muscle mass and skills to win in a fight with that, but it was a good workout to try to learn. I did Kung Fu. I got my white belt, which is the very first level in Kung Fu. So it's nothing to brag about. And I did some Krav Maga and I briefly did Capoeira, which is very hard. Do you know Capoeira? It's a Brazilian, it's technically martial arts, but it's all about like avoiding. It's like evasive maneuvers. Yeah. So it's sort of like dancing. And I was not coordinated enough for that. That one's hard. It's basically what they did in the freaking Matrix, where you bend backwards, like, but you're still standing, but you're like parallel to the ground. I don't know how the fuck, and they're flipping over there and doing somersaults in the air. I couldn't do it. And there's music with it. That's the cool thing about Capoeira is they play music and stuff on like these really cool instruments. So that was fun, but I stopped doing that over the pandemic and then never went back. And I tried doing dance and that was a good way to work out, but I suck at like, I'm just not coordinated. I'm a very awkward person.
I want to also tell you this. So in Kung Fu, they don't, for example, they will give you white belt and they won't give you black or blue. So when you go to competition, actually, like you can get so good, but they never change your belt. So when you go to competition to fight with another white belt, they beat you up and they are actually like black belt, but they are so that's
yeah, you have to choose to take the test to get the belt. So you could have the skill set, and if you don't choose to take the test and get the belt, like you see, yeah, that's a hack. That's a good hack.
That's scam. But you know, I feel that, for example, I don't think you suck with dancing or anything. I think that if you do something that you enjoy, you will be better at it. I mean, like Did you
Yeah.
find something that you enjoy? Why did you keep changing? Or sometimes the other problem why people changing because of bad teachers. So let's say martial arts.
Mhm.
Martial arts for me is the most fun sport. You should meditate when you do kung fu or
Oh
boxing,
yeah.
jiu-jitsu. And some places you go there and they beat you up. It's like
Oh yeah.
animals, which is this also in the 90s. And until now, some people still do it where you go rough. But now new techniques is to take it more easy and to enjoy. So why, like, do you think you haven't find something that you really love and you enjoy?
I would say for the kung fu, I probably, it probably was the setting. The gym was really big, and um my kung fu teacher was really cool, but he was pretty young, so he was a little inexperienced with teaching and stuff like that. Um but then I just stopped going to that because of the pandemic. And then with dancing, I it was a mix of the one teacher that I really liked was too expensive for me to keep going and seeing. So I started doing group classes, but then it was not as good of an experience because I wasn't getting as much one-on-one interaction. So I could ask questions. I didn't want to keep interrupting the class and stuff like that. I tried to keep it a little bit more. I still asked a lot of questions, probably the biggest asker of questions in the class. But yeah, it's probably like I was getting really good at ballroom dance with this one instructor that I had. But yeah, I don't know. I have an issue with consistency. I'll get really into something like a new hobby, and then for whatever reason, whether like you said, a teacher, or like financially, I just can't afford to keep up with it, or whatever it is. Um, but maybe it is also, I just haven't found, like, you know what I would really love if I could find, and I am relocating, so hopefully when I move, I'll be able to find this. But I would really love to find like a theater where I could just like audition for plays and just do plays and musicals and that sort of shit just for fun, literally just for fun. I don't care about whether or not anybody comes and sees it. Just get together with a cast and a crew and put on a show. Like that
Yeah.
was like the best part of growing up. I was fortunate in high school to have like a musical theater program in school. So I did that shit, and that was like fun. But as an adult, you're distracted with your job and your bills and your friends and your family and your dog.
Yeah.
Even though I don't, she just lays there all day. She's old and lazy.
Oh.
So
Um, by the way, I have a friend um, who has a dog, and so this guy he works in company that sells vitamins. Do you believe in vitamins and nutrition?
I have mixed feelings about him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, I believe in body chemistry and that there are things we can consume that balance it a little better. But I don't know if vitamins are exactly what they're marketed to be.
I told you that many people in the gym work out to look like you, and maybe also I would say many people taking vitamins to look like you. So this company, I will tell you. So this company, my of my friend, they tell you that if you take vitamins, you will look 10 years younger or 5 years younger. And they guarantee you that if you take their vitamins and supplement, in the 10 years, you will not grow as if you grow now. Um,
Hmm.
so their vitamins, it's like they make sure that your cells are getting all the nutrients that needs to rebuild, because our body is always rebuilding our cells.
Yep. Yeah.
So this nutrients also make sure that your cells are building better, and all your body is operating better. So when it rebuild, that cells is rich of nutrients and everything. So yeah, and I feel like there are too many people that take them and they look better. And also one other thing, how do you feel about growing old? Does it scare you like growing old or dying?
Like dying doesn't scare me. It I don't want to die young. I know that much, but there's obviously not going to be, that might not completely be in my control.
Yeah,
Um but as far as getting old and like aging, um I think it's gonna suck in some ways just because of the way society is with people who are getting older. But then at the same time, I'm gonna know that that's all bullshit, so it won't bother me because the older people in my life know better. Like I don't know. Like when like my, for example, I have a 70-year-old aunt, and her perspective on things is something that I value, like when I need advice, right? Because she's just been around and kind of has observed how the way the world works. But I also feel like when I'm her age, the world will not be nearly the same as it is now. So you're going to have to keep learning as you grow. So some people believe that when you're old, you get to rest in your retirement. I think the older you are, the harder you have to work to not want to just scream at everybody for their bullshit.
yeah. Sorry, let me just ask you, how many more minutes do you think you can stay? Just so.
Um, I'm good till, I was figuring it would be approximately an hour, but
Yeah,
I don't.
that's cool. I just don't
Yeah.
want
So,
sometimes to be talking to someone and they're like, when the fuck he gonna leave me alone?
dude,
So
no, I'm
I'm
having an enjoyable conversation.
I'm
So
glad.
I figure you'll clip it down to whatever you need
No, no, I will
for.
just put it all like that. That's my
Ah, it's
strategy.
all organic.
Yeah,
Nice. I like
yeah, I will just throw it there. I don't know. I do. So I'm doing this podcast because I do believe that. So that's how I reprogram my mind. So like I grew up in Yemen, and my dad teach me all the bullshit, and my mom and everything in Yemen, and I actually learn about life, and I grow my mind up differently, and by listening to podcasts. Like I feel that podcast is the most
yeah.
benefitable thing I ever had in my life.
Gave you a fresh perspective on the way the world really works and what people really think, like, rather than the confining, stigmatized design that some people live in.
And a podcast, it's like comedy jokes. You don't know what people will like we have this conversation now, and really people would relate to some things, they will like something. So I feel like it's like comedy. You start writing jokes, you don't know if people will laugh or no, you don't know if people will like it or no, but when you become master, when you master comedy, then you can go for 1 hour and you know that you're gonna entertain people. So
Yeah.
now it's the big, because I feel also doing conversation with someone, it's an art. Like for example, I don't know, many people hate Elon Musk, and I don't know why. I feel like we have one smart person, and
I don't understand all the hate either, honestly. I mean, I understand the principle behind the hate about like rich people doing whatever the fuck they want. But I feel like anybody, this is truly something I believe and could maybe be controversial. You give anybody that kind of money, they're going to do all the same shit. Like, do it because you're going to have the money and you can do whatever you want and it's not going to matter. Like, maybe you'll give it to people. That would be great. But I don't know. I just, I just feel like money is a thing that people want to talk about when they don't have it.
yeah, but I don't know. For me, how do you feel Elon Musk? Do you feel like he's a good for Earth, for humans?
Um, ooh, it's a loaded question, my friend. I I don't know. I mean, and I know a little bit about the headlines, right? I'm not like um that much into the details of it, but I don't think that a single person can really like cause the same amount of issues as I don't know, as what's already society already is, if that makes sense. Does that make sense? Like I literally feel like he just exists in a society and fills a role in people's minds, and chances are he's nothing really like that as an actual person. So I actually don't really see it as a big deal. Like I don't think he's a bad or a good thing. He's just in the headlines a lot. He's just in the news a lot. Like
But so now Elon Musk, he wanna save the human species. That's his plan. So like for
I didn't realize. So this is what's funny about that. Usually you hear that. Okay. Usually you hear people wanting to save species that are endangered. I know climate change and all that, and I trust me, I get it. But that's not just humans that are gonna like the whole fucking planet's gonna be gone if we don't fix that problem. But like save the human species. We're the fucking apex predator species. We don't need saving. We don't need saving. We're the ones that cause everything else on the planet to need saving. So I don't know. I don't know what he means by that.
look, you hit like you score like goal because I do believe that we are the bacteria on Earth. Because, like they say, for example, if you are an artificial intelligent and you see Earth, there is tree, there is dogs, there is cats, but then you see humans are burning, building, we are destroying Earth.
Yeah.
So I would say that if we all die, there will be no bacteria in Earth, and Earth will look better.
Yeah. It would be a much more beautiful planet until the next apex predator rose up and started building industry and tools, like started using tools and technologies. But next time it might be like, I don't know, like ducks. Maybe ducks will rule the world.
Wow. So, what's your philosophy? Do you have a philosophy or religion, or you
Um,
have your own?
I am, I guess the best label for it would be, um, I don't really want to. Okay, so like it was a trending term a while back, and now I can't think of it. Nihilism, nihilist, right? So like in the grand scheme of things, we're not very important. So do what you want as long as you're not hurting people. That's kind of my philosophy, right? So like I don't really believe that there's a purpose. Life is meant to just be lived
Mm-hmm.
and enjoyed. Like I'm not going to say on my deathbed, I'm proud or not proud of the life I lived. I'm probably just going to be like, well, I guess it's over now. Like uh it is what it is. But I also try to live in a way where the people around me benefit in some way from my presence. So I guess it's sort of like a moral nihilism. And then as far as religion goes, I was raised Christian and I very much believed in Christianity for the bulk of my life up until maybe 5 or 7 years ago. So I guess now I'm more or less an agnostic atheist. Like I don't I which is basically an agnostic, but I more or less believe that there isn't a God. But if somebody were to be like, here's absolute evidence that there is, I'd be like, all right, cool. Now what do I do now? Like now that you've proven that, what's the next step? Like I'm open to the idea if somebody could prove it, but I'm not, I've been manipulated and lied to and
Oh,
controlled by this mentality that there's a God and I speak for that God, therefore you're doing something wrong because God says it's wrong, but really it's just me saying it's wrong. So that's sort of what I'm worried about when it comes to religion and theology, because it can be twisted to control naive people.
hmm.
But like if there was like someone was like, look, I didn't fucking believe this morning too. I woke up as an atheist, but God showed up at my door and showed me that he was God. And I asked every question that I would ask to get him to prove he was God. And I believe it. And he's going to show you now. And there was like something that happened. I was like, oh, cool. That's proof. I would be like, but what am I supposed to do about it? Like, are you trying to tell me that I have to change my life? Because if that's the case, cool. I'm glad you exist, dude, but buzz off. No, not changing my life. That's sort of the thing. I don't believe that God, like the belief in God should cause people to feel shame for what they want to do in life and so.
Yeah. But what's also fascinating is us as human or as a species, if you believe in something that it's bad, when you do it, you feel so much guilt. Like, let's say when I was born, they told me that if I clap like this, it will make God angry, and programmed my mind. I get programmed, and I believe. So now, when I clap, I'm good. But if I'm programmed that way, when I clap, my body reaction will be different. And also, these ideas even hunt people, and it's even hard to take your body and mind out of them. But once you do, like your case and my case, then like there are things now that I would be like, as you said, like now I would have fun. I would do anything. I will never feel guilty why I'm having fun or why I'm
Right.
doing this. As long as I'm not hurting someone, then I don't have that guilt. Even if I have it because of some ideas or this, I would say to myself, it's just same shit as other ones.
Right. And I mean, it's just like, I just feel like there's an interesting and very fine line, even when you're like trying to live according to morals in the sense of I don't want to hurt somebody, right? But then the guilt of, like, say for example, like a family member that tries to make you feel guilty for hurting them, but really it was just because you inconvenienced them, right? Or like you didn't meet an expectation, like you didn't show up for this family event, but you had a legitimate reason, you explained whatever, like you're living your life. um Now maybe you'll have your own regrets that you couldn't like accomplish what was expected of you from that perspective, but like I feel like some people will come at you and say this really hurt me, and really all they mean is I want you to feel guilty so next time you won't do that. So it's just a weird line to draw of like what is really hurting people versus what is empty guilt that's just aimed to control your behavior. Do you know what I mean?
That's the benefit of overcome things. Then other things become easier, which is everything. Like when I was Muslim, I was so scared to do everything. But once I break that door and I was like, fuck it, if there is God, show me, wait me outside the school by the end of the, that when we have
Right.
kids, I was like, fuck it, if you have any issues, wait. So then everything become easy because you already break that wall. It's just at the beginning. Then
Yeah.
I feel it's also the same with everything. With comedy, when you break that wall, it's always hard at the beginning to figure out yourself, your writing. But then when you break it, it become easy, which is it's very hard to start things from hard, from the hardest point. But then there is more reward, and that's why not many people can do
Right.
it.
Well, and also to break that wall, or even I'll use the analogy of like breaking the mold, like the what you expect you have to fit into. It's more risky because at least like when you're presented like with a boundary that somebody else set, not for your benefit, but it's set, following that line and playing by the rules feels safer and maybe is safer, but like you said, with greater risk comes greater reward in the end, you know, when you finally pull it off. Because I don't know, I feel like not literally anything, not outside of like the laws of physics, but I do believe that people, our brains are powerful enough that we can do anything we really put our minds to, you know. We can become and we can imagine and we can create. And yeah, we hold ourselves back by letting all of these rules dictate how we behave.
Yeah, they say that the human brain is the strongest machine. There is even in Earth, everyone brain, and you just have to also sometimes replace all the cells you have in your brain if it's like burn. My case, there is
Right. Deconstruct and rebuild like your own worldview based on I guess just what you know to be real now. Also, that's the other thing that gets me going back to the growing old thing and what maybe or maybe not scary about that. I often imagine like me today having a conversation with me as a teenager and a very devout Christian, and like how much conflict would be in that conversation. I mean, I would be probably a lot more graceful
wow.
with my younger self than my younger self would be with me. So I'm thinking about who I will be when I'm old. And
Wow.
I'm like, I probably, that bitch, whoever that bitch is gonna be, I'm gonna hate her guts. But when I'm her, I'm gonna think she's awesome. So it's just like I feel like I might, I don't know, this is ridiculous. I might become a flat earther like in my 80s and believe that the world is flat and we've been lied to about like the globe. Like who
Wow.
knows? I'm not saying that deconstructing your religious narrative from childhood and from being raised is the same thing as actual science. That's not what I'm trying to say. But I'm just saying I know that perspectives change sometimes in ways that we would never predict when we're younger. So
Is
who knows?
is that it's hilarious when you say that if you are talking to your Christian self, how you're gonna be like, is
Can you
that
imagine talking to your Muslim self? Like, right,
oh, I
like
would shoot. I swear to
what?
God, I would shoot myself. If that person, I would think that I'm getting the 70 virgins.
Oh my gosh.
That's hilarious. Is it in your
Yeah, because
set?
you really believe all of it. Like it's understandable. I mean, because like you said,
Wow.
your brain is forming at that age. So the information put into it is gonna stick until you can get new, better information.
Unbelievable. That's why they say you shouldn't be married to your ideas because just think about this. Is that's what is it in your set? Do you have jokes about you talking to yourself as Christian and just
No,
because
no.
that's what I'm telling you. This is so funny if you find, and then you can tell people not to be married to their ideas. Like you can tell them,
Yeah,
look,
there's a yeah.
me. So that's what I love about comedy, that you bring your own experience, you being young Christian and now, and then you at the end, people will live and be thinking, like, look, she actually makes sense. Like you are not lying, or me. I'm telling you, I would shoot myself. I will get to
Right.
heaven
Like this
if I
is just
should
I'm
this.
just saying it how it is. That's all.
And I think that's the best way to make people think. Like you cannot go to someone and tell them, "Hey, don't be married to your ideas, or I will kill you." Everyone will be like, "Okay," but when you make joke, this uh, I would call it this sweet way and cute way, especially from you. It would be cuter than me. My me will be too dark. I don't know. Some of my jokes are just too dark.
Like I would kill that bastard.
Yeah.
I'd shoot him in the face.
Yeah, but that's good stuff to maybe work on. I'm really
Mm,
excited to give you the link for the workout. Sorry, what
yeah.
workout? For the
The workshops for comedy. Yeah, I'm
yes.
excited to check that out. How frequently do they run like
So
sessions where you have a start date and a finish date, or is it continuous? What is it?
So there is one that happens every day, different times.
Oh.
It's called Joke Zoom. And there is another one that happen every Monday and Thursday, to joke minimum. Today maybe try to
Oh,
come
is
in.
that the one that Jason Oxhorn runs?
Oh, Jason, yeah.
Yeah. I've heard of his. I haven't been able to check it out yet because probably honestly because it I I forgot. Like I forget that these things are out there. I
Yeah.
get wrapped up in my day to day.
Yeah, I also see some people also they have bad experience when they come to the work shop, working room for jokes. And I really don't know why, because sometimes I don't get good feedback, but I go again and again and again, and it's life, like the waves.
Right. And also it's about what you do with the feedback. And if all you're going is to get your fragile ego stroked a little bit and have people tell you you're awesome, then you're not going to the right place. You need to go home to mommy and daddy for that shit, provided you have a supportive mommy and daddy. But like, like they'll put your ugly ass drawing up on the
Yeah,
fridge. Like
yeah,
but yeah, if you want constructive, if you want to get better, it's that kind of environment where they're genuinely trying to help you make better material.
yeah. I don't know why, but I do, like, I feel that when I talk to you, when I see you there, I have so much belief in you. Like, I feel that you are hilarious. You are so interesting uh, person.
So
I even
thank you
was, I
so
was,
much because I keep to myself a lot. So I don't realize, like, I always feel awkward when I'm in a social setting. So it's nice to be complimented. So thank you.
oh no, I was even last week disappointed because I came for Wednesday, but not Thursday. It was full,
Hmm.
and
Yeah, I couldn't do Wednesday last week because I actually, speaking of being awkward in social situations, I had like a very rare social outing, meeting a friend for dinner. So I was busy last week. Um, but I mean, this week I was hoping to do both Wednesday, Thursday, but I guess Tom's busy Thursday. So he's got his own live show
yeah,
thing going.
yeah. But uh, I hope you will get spot. Did you confirm to?
Um, I I'm think I was one of the first ones to sign up when he announced his availability this week. So we'll see. But I've been pretty consistent. I've been in. If there's new people, I hope he puts them in instead. Because I've had I think 3 or 4 weeks in a row with the short break where I was in Myrtle Beach, which I can't wait to move. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna live in a beach town again.
So you're gonna live next to the beach,
Hmm.
and there the dope is legal.
Yeah. Well, technically in that state, in Connecticut it is. I live in Connecticut now. Um, South Carolina is a little bit more conservative. Um, but
You can get it. Like you are in the US. You can get it even in
right.
countries.
Yeah, it's a lot, it's decriminalized at least, right? So even if it's not technically legal, they're not really gonna
It's
do
the
anything.
fastest growing industry in the US is wheat. So it's going to be more than vegetables and everything.
I believe it, sir. I so this is a really great story that I have to tell because it's ridiculous. So I was married for 10 years. I mentioned a couple of times I was married early. Like so from ages 20 to 30, literally right that exact decade. My 20s I was married and then in my 30s I'm free. But um, I my husband was kind of all over the place trying to settle into a career path. When we got married, he wanted to be a police officer. And then because he lied about his marijuana use on his application, they wouldn't let him get it. Like they didn't hire him. So then he joined the military, the Coast Guard. And then he got out of the Coast Guard, went back to school, and went back to the police academy, right? Became a cop for like a month. And then one day came home and told me he hated it. And I was like, I don't know what you want me to tell you. If you hate it, quit. Like, you've been trying to figure this out for long enough now. Figure out what you want to do. So he quit, went back to school again, and this time for technology. And because that's also, he found that that was a growing thing because I happened to work in it at the time. But anyway, well, I still work in technology, but whatever. Right after he quit being a police officer, he started growing marijuana in our shed.
What? Like for sale or for you?
Just for us. But he had enough, he should have sold it. And we lived right behind like a retirement community of like people like 55. You had to be 55 or older to live there. And I'm like, dude, those old people would so want that weed. Like, we could have been selling like to people like to help with their glaucoma or whatever shit they need it for, or at least what they get the doctors to say, because it was legal. Medical marijuana was legal in Florida at the time, but not recreational. And he had enough. At one point he had like 15 plants, big ones that were growing in there. He set it all up with lights and ventilation, and it was quite an operation, and didn't see a penny. It was a missed business opportunity.
What? But how you told me you were Christian and you this. So for you, weed was not. God was okay. Your God is fine with weed because my God wasn't fine with weed.
No, it wasn't something that was condoned by the church in any way, shape, or form. In fact, the first time I tried weed was when my husband grew it. So in my 20s, like, I had never tried it before. I like, I never like got drunk until I was like also an adult, things like that. Like, I didn't party, I didn't do any of those things. I was avoided substances. Like, my dad would let me have like a glass of wine at home at dinner, and
But
that
how
was it.
bad is it to smoke weed when you were Christian? Because for
I
me,
mean,
it's all hell, hell and burn.
yeah, it wasn't. If drugs and stuff were very frowned upon against certain Christians, but it wasn't like as big of a deal, I think, by the time I was smoking it. So that's probably why I felt more comfortable at the time. But,
Mm.
it was also around this, I started smoking weed around the same time that I stopped going to church. So, of course, they'll of course use that as, see, it is evil. It made her stop going to church. And maybe it did. Maybe, you know what? Maybe that's the reason religious folks are so against weed, because it really does poison your mind against God.
It
Um,
makes you think. You are like,
it opens your
wow,
mind. Yes.
why am I going to the church? Or like, why am I going to this weirdos?
Yeah. And why do I believe that all these people are going to go to hell for doing things when the people in church who believe they're going to heaven do worse things?
Yeah, and it makes you happy. Like I say to someone, if you smoke, you're gonna be happy. And she was like, I'm happy original. It's like, is there really happy original people? Is this people
That's
still
why it's
exist?
called that's why it's called getting high, because it's an elevated sense of, you bring yourself up. So even if you're sad, you bring yourself up a little bit from being sad. Maybe you might not feel as good as somebody who is happy and then smoked and then feels really happy. But also, now that, especially in the US, there's less, it's not like a criminal thing anymore. And there's an industry behind it. They're researching it more, right? So they're figuring out like what different strains have different effects, and what's good for pain versus what's good to help you sleep versus what's good to give you an appetite, versus if you really just want to feel euphoric and high and get it like a really good mood high. But that's, that's what all those dispensaries are out there doing, is trying to sell these unique blends. I don't know if it's really, I haven't noticed that when I smoke and I feel how I feel. I don't know.
So now indica helps you be active and sativa helps you sleep.
was the other way around.
Or the other way around. Okay, I agree with you because
Indica equals into couch. That's how I remember it.
Oh, okay. So do you smoke, when you smoke indica, you feel sleepy, and when you sleep sativa, you feel more active?
Yeah, I have a sativa like vape pen that I smoke but I drink a hell of a lot of caffeine to compensate for any sleepiness, because I usually have a hybrid, but lately I've been getting like indica heavy hybrids. So it's got a little sativa in it, but not enough. But I just sit on my ass all day, so it works. When I have to get up and do things, I need a sativa, or I'll just like I'll be up for 2 minutes. I'll like put one dish in the dishwasher, and then I'll come down and I'll sit and I'm like, I need a break. And then I'll get sucked into TikTok for 2 hours. So that's what indica does to me.
Wow. So now, do you focus more on because yes, maybe for me, like you are telling me about you, maybe we can end it up with this.
Okay.
You tell, I mean, like about working out or smoking or all these things. About comedy, do you want to just be like comedian, or do you want to be comedian, actor, actress? Sorry.
I want to get into the entertainment industry. That's, I think, kind of, I honestly could see myself in the behind the scenes.
We are old. We are
It's
old.
funny, but I like acting. I mean, I would like to do like comedic style acting. Like I think probably like if I were to say, not that I expect it, because I don't have any expectations, but if I like successfully launch a career in something, like doing like a sitcom sort of thing would be super fun, you know?
Yeah.
Like that sort of thing, where it's just a bunch of characters and situations. But I love stand-up. It's the hardest. It's the hardest one. It's because all the attention's on you. So like that's the one I think if you can like master and conquer like stand-up comedy, you can do anything else in terms of entertainment. Except for maybe music, because you have to actually like know how to do music. And I know a little bit. I can like sing and sort of play instruments, but not enough. I have musician friends, and watching them, I'm like, yeah, I'm not a musician. Not even sort of. I just dabble. They're like really good.
Wow. Yeah,
So.
got it. Anyway, whatever it is, I think you are worth it and you
Thanks.
deserve it.
Appreciate
So
that.
I wish to see you again, and let's see about the workshops. And honestly, you being in this podcast, like I don't know what to do, but I appreciate you so much, and I had so much fun. So
Yeah, it was just as if we just got a chance to chat about a few things, and it happens to be recorded and posted on the internet. And like you said,
yeah,
people can relate hopefully to just the randomness of this conversation.
and I really, as they say, like I really believe that one day I will make it to the US. One day I will travel around and hopefully say my silliness. So I also like feel that I'm glad that podcast. Also, we are friends in Facebook, so
Yeah,
hopefully we can make it in real life.
it would be so great to meet you in real life.
For
Yeah,
sure, I want to meet everyone that been in my podcast, and especially you. You are so sweet. So
thank you.
hopefully it will happen.
That's an awesome goal to have though, because I mean, you're gonna meet some cool people around the world, and when you travel, you'll have people already that you know all over the place. Isn't
Yeah,
that awesome?
yeah, and cool people, cool people. So thank you so
Hey,
much.
yeah.
Okay,
Awesome.
all the best. Bye bye. Thank you.
All right. Thanks. Bye.